Hello, welcome. My name is Sara and I'm coming to you from the south part of Sweden, and this is my creative knitting related and all the crafty things I do podcast. It's been a really long while since I recorded an episode, but about a week ago I put out a video on Instagram where you can find me as MrsWallgren Makes. And while I'm on it, maybe I should say where you can find me. You can find me on Instagram as MrsWallgren Makes and on Ravelry as Mrs. Wallgren. I'm just gonna close the window right next to me. So a week ago I put out a video on Instagram where I talked about how I converted my primrose to go from a bottom up to a top down sweater. And I don't think I have thought about how much I've missed recording and talking to you guys about knitting and what I'm up to. So I just felt like I need to make this work in my life. I have 2 kids and a full-time job, and the kids are in that age right now where they have a lot of activities, and yeah, life just goes on. But the time I have, I prioritize on knitting and making stuff because that's what makes me feel good and calm and sane actually. But I have really missed this. So today I wrote down in our calendar that today I'm gonna make a podcast. So I got home from work about 15 minutes ago. It's super hot outside. So yeah, but I just wanna find the time to do this. But I'm not gonna promise anything. But in my calendar I have written down that every second week on Wednesday I have booked the night off to be able to record a podcast. And everything can happen, the kids can get sick, and maybe I just don't know if it's gonna happen, but I really miss it, so I'm hoping so. So there is no way I will be able to show or even recall what I've done since we talked the last time. I think that was in like November or December last year. So I'm just not gonna do that. I'm gonna talk about a few pieces that I've been really enjoying this year, and I'm gonna talk about my ongoing projects, and we're gonna look a little bit into what I thought I would be doing for the beginning of this year. So I thought we could start there actually. So for the beginning of this year I wrote a list about what I wanted this year to have more of, what I wanna, yeah, what I want for this year actually. And one of those things was that I wanted to knit myself more socks. I'm just not finding this page of my book that I'm looking for. I don't know where it is. Yeah, one thing was that I wanted to knit myself more socks. I have knitted 2 pairs of socks this year. That is not a lot at all. I just haven't had the energy, or not energy, I just haven't felt like it actually. But I really enjoy knitting socks, so I don't know why it's not happening. But I have knitted 2 pairs of socks, and these are the first ones. This is a pattern by Erika Åberg from one of her books. I can't recall if it's the one where, yeah, I'm just gonna write it on the screen actually what book it is. But this is knitted in leftover yarns that I had at home. This is Arvetta classic from Filcolana, and these were just some colors I had at home and thought would be nice for this pair of socks. I haven't worn them yet. Actually, I thought I could save them for like this autumn, and I think I'm gonna do that. I think these would look really, really good in a pair of boots or like brown leather shoes, and yeah. So this pair, and I have knitted this pair of socks which is from Tant Ultus. This is from her book Tant Ultus Tröjor, and this is actually the sock pattern of my recent finished object. So this is the same like stitch pattern. This is really, really meditative. It's super easy to remember. You don't have to look at the chart at all actually, and yeah, I really like them. These ones are knitted in Järbo Tenselraggi that I got as a gift from Edna.se when they opened their shop early this year. So this is Tenselraggi by Järbo, and this is Tant Ultus. I think they're like yeah, what's they called? It's the same name as the sweater, so I'm not gonna remember that either, but yeah, I'm gonna write it down on the screen actually. And when we're after that, I will try to write everything on the screen about the patterns and the designers, but I'm not gonna make show notes. I know that's really bad, but I don't have the time to do that too, and I hope you all are okay with that. So these pairs of socks, that's all I've knitted. I have such an urge to have more knitted socks, but I don't want to knit them right now, and all of my creative life is based on having fun actually, and feeling like doing something. So maybe for this autumn there will be more socks, but right now there's only 2 pairs. Another thing that I wrote down on that list was that I wanted to make more things that could take a little bit more time, that I didn't want to rush through and just make a lot of things that's just gonna lie there. I want to enjoy the process of knitting more, and that is something I have really done this year actually. And one of my best things, I'm gonna take this down, one of my best things this year, both knitting wise, because this was super fun, and something that I'm actually really proud of, is this. This is the Daffodil by MrsWallgren. This is a pattern from an old collection, from the springtime collection, but she also has it in one of her newer books called Cherish, and in this book it's actually called, let's see, she renamed every pattern for this book, but it's based on old patterns. Rian is it called in this book. This was such a fun thing to knit. I was so sad when the sweater was finished actually, because I just enjoyed the knitting process of this one so much. I have knitted this one in Hillesvåg Vilje, I think. Yeah, in the undyed and unbleached natural white color. And I haven't been wearing this a lot actually, because it's been a super warm summer, even in Sweden, where it could be really cold sometimes, but I am actually really looking forward to putting this on for autumn. I just love this sweater. I think it's so beautiful, and it was, yeah, everything was good about this sweater actually. So that was one thing that I actually really took the time to make something a little bit more complicated, and it was so worth it in the end. Some other things that I've been working on for this year is actually I have knitted myself another Islander. I made one last year in light grey and a charcoal, and then I had this no idea what I wanted to knit in the spring, I think, beginning of spring, sometimes there. Or was it early summer? Oh, I don't know, but I really enjoyed knitting on the other Islander I got, so I cast it on in a Islander in this beautiful coppery color and a natural white. This is knitted in Rauma Finul. This pattern is actually a free pattern on Rauma's webpage, but that one is written for bottom up. I did that with my first one, but for this one I actually started on the top, so I changed the raglan stitches a little bit. I made them just plain in the coppery color, and I just freebased the sweater down, and yeah, this one is actually a little bit more oversized and a little bit longer than I usually make my sweaters, but this is actually a garment that I want to wear outside with like hiking pants or anything. It's super beautiful over like a white dress or anything like that, but it's a little bit too long for me and my shape of dresses, I guess. But I really love this one. I want to knit so many more. I want to have one in a dark navy blue and white. I want to have one in black and light grey, and I want to have like a brown one with beige dots, and yeah, I can see myself knitting this one so much because it's such an addictive pattern. I don't ever get tired of it. I just knit, and you don't have to shake the chart, but it's always happening something, so this is my perfect pattern actually. And for this one I have steeked the neckline. I did that with my first one too. So I just started with a provisional cast on for the neck and knitted the body, and then I steeked the neck opening at the front, and then I knitted a double folded collar and sewed it in, so you don't have any like steeked edges on the inside, because you hide that with the double folded collar. Yeah, so that one is also one of my favorites this year. I really love it. So that was two of my favorite projects for this year actually, and it goes in line with what I had wrote down about things being able to take time and move slow, so that's good. So if we look like what I've been up to recently, my latest finished object is actually this one. This one is the same pattern, stitch pattern as the socks I showed you, so this is from Tant Ultus Tröjor. This one is also knitted in Rauma Finul. I love that yarn. It's the best yarn in the world for me. I love all the colors. I love the yarn weight. You can use it for color work. You can use it alone. You can use it with mohair. It's just a great yarn, I think. But this is the sweater. I made this one with short sleeves. I don't have any sweaters left in my knitted wardrobe that I haven't gifted away with short sleeves, so I really thought this could be beautiful with like a white shirt underneath, or a shirt dress or something like that. And if I don't feel like the short sleeve is for me, I can always rip the ribbing out and knit the longer sleeve later. because I have yarn left, so that's not gonna be a problem. But yeah, I think this will be the perfect start of autumn sweater because it's so light and airy, and this stitch pattern makes it super, super, yeah, airy, I guess. But yeah, really love it. And I haven't changed the pattern at all actually, except for the raglan stitches here were supposed to be in what do you say, is it garter? No, you should do them like one row. If you're knitting in a round, you would do one row of knit stitches and the other one in purl stitches. So if you would have been knitting this flat, you would just do the knit stitches. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's supposed to be in the raglan here, but I thought that that was a little bit too busy for me. I wanted a clean edge, and I really think this looks beautiful with the raglan stitches when there's this straight line, and then the yarn overs for increasing goes really well with the pattern on the sweater, I think. So that's the only modification I did, otherwise I just followed the pattern. It's super good. I love the book. I think I'm gonna get a lot of use of the sweater, and if not, it's gonna be a long sleeve sweater for later. Something else that I've been knitting on like recently is that I've been knitting 2 scarves. I know, it's weird because I don't like knitting scarves actually. It's not my thing. I love weaving scarves, but I don't love knitting them. But my dear friend Anna made this pattern of a really super simple but beautiful shaped shawl called the, oh my god, I think my brain is like fried today. What is the name? It's the Angerboda shawl. And this first one I knitted on my way home from the north of Sweden this summer actually. So I bought this yarn when I was in Umeå at Perssons Garn, and this is Tynn Silk Mohair from Sandnes and the Sandnes Sunday in a beige color. I have written the numbers of the colors down on Ravelry, so if you're wondering about the colors, go check it out. This is a super simple shawl actually, but this is everything I want in a shawl. I love just a super simple and beautiful shawl. It has great drape, and I'm actually thinking about wearing it like tied around like this for fall. I really like that look. A little bit outlanderish. I think this is gonna get a lot of use, and I really love it. It's knitted on quite large needles, so it has a good drape to it. So yeah, I really recommend the pattern if you just want a simple pattern but a nice shape of shawl. I recommend it. I really do. And then I had this beautiful skein of Gotland yarn from a little farm up north in Sweden that I got from another dear friend called Marie when we did this Christmas swap thing in December, and this yarn has just been lying there waiting for something beautiful, and I had one skein and I want to do something that just showed the yarn. This is like an undyed Gotland yarn, but I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but this is so hairy and beautiful, and it's truly like mohair in the most beautiful way. And I think I used maybe half the skein for this one, so I made a mini Angerboda shawl. This is the same pattern, I just stopped when I felt like it was the great size for just a little hanky like this. I really like this, I really like this kind of look where you have a little scarf in the fall that you can have like inside or indoors. And then when you go out, you can wrap yourself around in a big shawl outside of this. So this is my mini Angerboda shawl. This was a lot of ties on the same place right now, but yeah, it's so cute. This yarn is, I mean, Gotland yarn is probably the most beautiful thing in the entire world. It's so shiny and hairy and squishy, and it smells amazing. So that one is also done. So I thought that if I'm gonna get this podcast out and actually have the time to do it, oh my god, I have wool in my mouth right now. I am not gonna talk a lot about my sewing. I make like 90% of all my clothes in my wardrobe are handmade by me right now. That is something that I am, that was my goal. Started sewing, and that is actually something that I love about my wardrobe. And if I'm sewing something that is outside of my normal sewing, I will probably show it here and talk about it, but to be honest, I don't do that many different things. I love a certain amount of colors. I have like 2 skirt patterns that I like. I have 3 different types of dresses, and that's what I'm going for. I know what I like, and that's what I'm sewing. So I'm not that experimental about my sewing. So I could talk about what I'm wearing in the episode, but I don't think I'm gonna do like sewing as a part of the episodes anymore, because it's just gonna be too long. I don't sew that much right now because I think that I have a good basic wardrobe right now, so I'm just adding a few pieces that I think would suit other things, so I can mix and match them all together. So that's just how I feel about my sewing. So if anyone is interested, maybe go check out my Instagram, because sometimes I show what I wear and then you can see, but yeah, that's it. I'm just it's so easy to get on with like just talking and talking and talking, and then the episode is really long, so I'm not gonna do that today. I'm not gonna do it. So I have 3 projects on my needles. One is kind of an UFO. I haven't knitted on it for a while, but I have 2 that is super fun and really active, both of them. So maybe I should start with the one that hasn't got that much attention lately. This is a beautiful pattern by oh my god, my cord went out from the stitches, but that's okay because it's pure wool yarn. I'm gonna find them again. But this is a sweater from the book. Yeah, I'm gonna write down the name for the book and the author. But this is a basic raglan sweater with a collar. It's called raglantröja med krage in the book. So this is a Shetland patterned collar, and then just a super basic raglan sweater. This one is almost done. I have a half a sleeve and the other sleeve to go, so 1.5 sleeve and then it's done. I don't know why I'm not knitting on it, because I love it. I love the yarn. The yarn for the sweater, like the main yarn, is this beautiful MrsWallgren sölje, I think, in this beautiful beige gray color. I think this is called lys rödlig beige or something like that in Norwegian. I really like this color. I love the yarn. I love the colors that I chose for the neck color, but I don't know actually why I haven't knitted on it. I'm gonna pick it up when I have one of my other projects done, and I'm just gonna finish it because I think I'm gonna love this for fall. I made a pink really hacked gypsum skirt for the beginning of summer. I think that would be really beautiful with this light pink in the color actually. So this is something I'm gonna pick up when one of my other things are done. But that one is one thing on my needles that needs some attention. Then I have another project that I started this a week ago, I think, or something like that. Something else that I wrote down in my book at the beginning of the year is actually that I wanted to be better and be able to make stuff from my own head. Sometimes I have such a clear vision about what I want to knit, but I just don't do it because I can't find the perfect pattern for it. And I know how I'm gonna knit a sweater. I just don't do it if I don't have the pattern. I don't know why. I just love following knitting patterns, just doing what it says and don't need to think. But it's so fun to create by yourself too. So I made a sketch in my book about what I wanted the sweater to look like. I had some inspiration pictures saved on my Instagram from different sweaters I've seen online, both like retails and what people have knitted, and I made up my own thing. It's not a hard pattern at all, but it's just the way I want this sweater to be. So here's the start of the sweater. This is knitted top down. I did exactly as I did on my Islander for this one. So I started with a provisional cast on, and then I knitted it down a bit, and then I tried it on, marked where I wanted the neckline to go, and then I just sticked it and picked up the stitches for the collar, I don't know how to do it, and then I just knit a double folded collar and stitch it down so you don't have any seams on the inside or any sticked edges or anything. You just have a beautiful clean inside. So this is gonna be an all over colorwork sweater, quite oversized. I want the raglan to be really deep, and then I want the body to be quite short but like wide in the body, and then I want some sleeves that is going to be kind of decreasing fast if you say it like this, so you just get this fitted cuff from here, and then I want the cuff to be quite long, and that one will be black like the main color here in twisted rib, and then just a twisted rib on the bottom also in black, and that one is gonna have some short rows in the ribbing so I get a lower hem on the back. That's my thought about this knitting project. I really love this. This is just like the Islander. It's like two different rows that you just alternate, so it's always happening something. It's always color work, but it's so easy that you can just knit. You don't need to look at any chart or anything. You just have to pay attention to what stitch you're gonna pick up and increase for the raglan. This one I have knitted in, I had this yarn at home. This is Campus tretrådiga or 3-ply yarn. This is a super cheap 100% rough wool yarn, and it's a super great yarn. I think it's really affordable, and I love the rough feeling of it, and yeah, I think it's a really good yarn, and it's so worth the price. It's super cheap actually, but yeah, I really like it. And this one is the light gray, and then I have the black. So these are my colors for my own design. This is not going to be a pattern at all. I have not the confidence enough to make a pattern for anyone else to knit, but I am super, super happy about wearing this myself actually. So that was ongoing project number 2, and I have only one thing left, and this is, oh my god, this is my dream project. I wished for some money when I had a birthday this May, and for that money I bought myself a knitting kit for the Primrose by MrsWallgren. This is such a beautiful sweater, and I have been wanting to knit this for such a long time. It's from her book, let's see, Gentle. And this is the beautiful, beautiful sweater. And I mean, just look at that tweed checked skirt that she's wearing with it. I just love it so much. It's beautiful. So this one is on my needles, and I have gotten quite far. And if you want to know how I made my head come around of doing this top down instead of bottom up, go check my Instagram, because I try to explain there how I think, how my brain thinks when I do these calculations. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, this is my Primrose. Now I'm talking away again. Let's see, this is the front. So I have gotten quite far actually. I am a good way down the body, and I have one section of patterns left on the body and then quite a long ribbing. But I mean, these colors are just, they are just amazing. Look at this. I have them in my basket. I'm a basket person. I love baskets. But this yarn, it's so beautiful. I know it's expensive, and I don't think I'm gonna buy this yarn like for all the sweaters. Absolutely not. It's super expensive. But if you have like one dream project that I have with this one, and I got some money when I had my birthday, I decided to spend it on yarn, and for me it was super worth it. But I know it's a splurge, and I know that I'm really, really thankful that I am in a position where I can buy it. But yeah, it's such a beautiful yarn. It's so heathered, and it's almost like it's so fluffy. It feels almost like a Gotland wool. It's not. I think it's made from fine blend of wool spun in Devon from the blue-faced Leicester, Exmoor, Wensleydale and Swartbles sheep breeds. I don't know how that's pronounced, but oh, so beautiful. And I actually ordered the kit for the large, but I'm knitting the, well, I'm knitting the small, but I'm a little bit off gauge, so I am getting the measurements for like a medium. So I have quite a lot of yarn left actually. So when I'm done with the sweater, I am gonna make, with the leftover yarns, there is a beautiful tam in this book that I'm gonna make to go with the sweater. I really love this. Let's see where it is. These ones are actually really beautiful too, the looping socks. That is also something you can do with leftover yarns if you have leftover yarns from a sweater. But yeah, here it is. Let's see. The mistletoe tam. This is so beautiful, and it will be in the exact same colors as the sweater, so I think that could go really good together. So this is a project that I'm gonna cast on when my sweater is done and I see how much yarn I have left. But right now I have quite a lot of leftover yarns actually, so I think it's gonna be a lot. So this is my Primrose by MrsWallgren in her British breed yarns. It's so beautiful. I hope to have it done, but I won't say that because I don't want it to be done. I want to keep knitting on it, and I want to save it, and I want to like go slow and really enjoy the process of it. But I also kind of want to have it done for October, when me and some knitting friends are going to Stockholm for the knitting festival there. That would be awesome to have this done by then. But I'm not gonna stress it, I'm not at all. I don't think it would be a problem actually, but yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was it. That was all the 3 things I have on my needles, all the 3 sweaters. I wrote down somewhere that I wanted to have like some kind of structure where maybe I had like 1 pair of socks and 1 sweater, and that is not going so well for me right now. I love knitting sweaters or cardigans and big projects. That's my passion. That's what I really feel like doing right now. I had a period about 2 years ago where I loved knitting socks. So I know it kind of comes and goes, and usually I'm kind of stressed out about having so many projects on the go, but this one, my Fair Isle color project, it's okay that it's resting and that I can pick it up when something else is done. And the pattern for the sweater that I'm designing myself, it's just fun, and it's fun to see where everything is going, and the MrsWallgren project is just so dreamy. So I don't have any stress about having 3 sweaters on my needles. I wished for it to be more different kind of project, and I'm really longing to knit some mittens and hats and stuff like that for winter. So I hope I get the inspiration and urge to do it, but as long as my heart wants to knit sweaters, that's what I'm gonna do, and that's what I think everyone should do actually. This episode got way longer than I thought it would be, so I'm just gonna end it here. I don't know if I forgot to talk about anything. I didn't go through the list of things that I wrote down that I talked about in the beginning. That's just yeah, that was what happened today. Hopefully I see you in about 2 weeks. If I don't, maybe I see you in 6 months, or let's see. Hope you have a great time and get a lot of crafting and knitting done until I see you next time. Bye!